What's up, everyone? Uh, Something cool happened. Like yesterday, I made a mistake and I actually went back to a video that I did 3 weeks ago. So what I did was I went back and actually watched how after I finished the video, I realized that, oh shit, it's already been done. So I looked in the previous videos and I saw it, and I decided to watch it again. So now, in order to see the difference, it was kind of it was fun to see the different approaches I had. Let's just say that. Oh, the video was uh, the scope of discovery in 3 dimensions, basically. In-depth discovery, exploratory discovery, and perspective discovery. Anyways, but today's video is thinking as a style. Same as walking, if you know how to walk, then you can take any path you want. Kengan Ashuro. I think so. This is a martial arts, basically, anime. But I think they were saying fighting as a style, because ultimately the way you kind of like fight becomes unique to you as you basically practice more and fight more and all that kind of stuff. But so thinking as a style, naturally, because we're not going to discuss martial arts unless it pertains to the philosophy behind how we express ourselves, right? So thinking as a style, same as walking. If you know how to walk, then you can take any path you want. Which means if you know how to think, you can approach anything you want from a thinking's perspective. I think that's relevant to me specifically because the last 10 years of my life, I thought in one dimension. That was literally get money, find an idea, invest in it, without actually processing anything beyond what I already knew. And over the past 4 years in Lebanon, I have basically became a business analyst. I have became a software engineer. I became a web developer, brand designer, like all these kinds of different things. Became a writer. I actually started writing poetry. And I feel that is the development of I have always approached things in a certain kind of way. I would not want to say it's instinctive, but maybe I could use the term transparent and honest. Because for us, ultimately, we're either intentionally trying to evolve or grow, or we're going to be forced to evolve or grow by the environment. Correct? So, weirdly, so I was very honest about how I am, but that didn't mean that how I am was relevant to the situation that I was in because I kind of lacked that. I lacked the responsivity necessary for me to grow. So I've always been awkwardly natural, as in the way, like, because I'm thinking about how I speak right now and how I speak back then. It's the same. The only difference is the articulation. So, kind of like my style in conversation is still the same, but my style in words is different. And that is basically because the only way you think I'm a firm, I feel strongly towards thinking is a negotiation between you and your mind. That's why I do these videos. Like I vocalize things as I'm having a conversation, I'm hearing my own voice. And then basically that's creating a different reaction, which is changing the process of how I think the next time I am on this topic. any topic I'm mentioning. And before I started doing this, I started writing my thoughts, like what is it exactly I am thinking towards this thing, and I start writing it down. And as I did that, I kind of started developing an internal dialogue between me and myself, not a monologue, because a monologue is a reaction. It's kind of like bringing stuff and throwing it there, kind of masking your presence. And I've had this conversation many times before because there are certain tonalities that your mind engages with you, uses to engage with you. And it's either, the way I see it is it's either your voice at one point in time, your voice that has not truly been like, that has not truly found closure, which means the processing mechanism behind that voice, that tone, that's bringing in the logic into the equation and the environment you're in right now. That that voice has not been able to overcome the moment where it became relevant. The conversation, the reason why I say that is because like ultimately what we want to do is we want to grow instinctively and we want to basically be able to trust our thoughts and trust that our thoughts will change as we are approaching things. And that's where basically the ego becomes a bit more dynamic instead of like fixed. The ego is not one part, it's different parts. It's different parts of your voice that have their own kind of like articulative style, which allow for these pieces of you. And it's simple. If somebody speaks two languages, uh, look at your mannerisms as you start speaking the different language, how they change. And that's basically a reflection of the image that you have when it comes to that language and how you are as that language speaker. And for me, I see the difference more profoundly between when I'm trying to speak Spanish and when I'm trying to speak French. There's a completely different vibe when I'm trying to speak any of them. And very much anytime I'm thinking in English and when I'm thinking in Arabic, when I'm thinking in Arabic, there's a lot more aggression and there's a lot more this happening. But when I'm thinking in English, it's a lot more like, yay. I'm a lot more creative when it comes to English, I guess. Maybe because most of the stuff that I read are in English. But so like the thinking as a style is basically like, as long as you are able to process, you can process anything. The reason I say it applies to me, it's because for like 10 years, I was very rigid in the one process that's supposed to work. But what, the past 10, over the past 14 years, the first 10 years of those 14 years, like literally since 2011 when I traveled to Africa, I left with one mentality in mind. And that didn't change. That didn't change the way I think, that didn't change the way I process. Until 2019, when I realized that it's not working. Wherever I am right now, or back in the day when I was thinking about it, wherever I was back in the day was a result of my thinking process. And I was like, hey, if you're not successful, if you're not feeling satisfied, if you're not less unhappy or at peace, then whatever's then then you have to take responsibility for whatever you bring to the table. And it doesn't. It's, uh, so what I did was I stopped doing stuff, and because I wanted to see what comes out of it. And then I realized, like I had like one of those. Uh, I don't know. It's like the old games where you just move left and right. It's like a yes/no algorithm where it's like, does it sound interesting? Yes, then go do it without thinking about what it is you're doing. And if it doesn't sound interesting, then continue basically with anything else. So my thinking was very rigid, and it really felt like an old man trying to walk. Eh, you know, took basically one step after the other. And now it's just that really, right now I have to segment. Am I thinking about the design process of the website? Am I thinking of the code process? Am I thinking of the front end of the back end? Am I thinking about the writing? Am I thinking about art? Because each one of them seems to be like having its own unique perspective on the world. And in a way, their combination develops this whole unity and how I express myself through articulating my thoughts, I guess. And so it's like the, what I'm trying to point at is the style of which you can process, the style that develops once you give this process attention. So all of us can read a book, all of us can get the knowledge from that book, can receive a bit of, can pass the test, can go through the grade, I guess. And I operated this way until I was like 36 years old or 35. And when the time hit, and I was like, all right, so like it really seems like I am wherever I am right now as a result of what I'm doing. I was able to just give attention to my thoughts and firmly started feeling the difference in how my thinking has is changing. And I'm not sure if I have a unique thinking style that's only unique to me, right? Because we're all unique, but nobody is special. But I guess that is basically like there's a style behind how I think because of the perspective. We all think the same. It's just we see the world differently because we all use logic and thinking. So we see the world differently, which kind of means that we're consistently developing this. Fun times. Love you guys. It's a video and peace out.